no one will warn you before they betray you. People will smile, shake your hand, and wait for the right moment to strike. That startling fact separates those who survive from those who are taken by surprise. It isn't always strength that keeps a person safe. It is the appearance of strength and control. Over centuries, thinkers like Machiavelli observed this constantly. People react to what they see, not necessarily to what is true. If you want to stay safe and powerful in relationships, business, or social life, you must first accept that perception often matters more than reality. You do not have to be invulnerable to be untouchable. You must learn to be unreadable. The world will not care how much you're hurting inside. It will only notice the signals you give. Learn to control those signals, and you will control how others treat you. Displaying vulnerability in public is a risk you can seldom afford. Social media, close-knit workplaces, and casual acquaintances are full of curious people who will remember and exploit signs of weakness. When you complain publicly, when you repeatedly show how much something affects you, you teach observers how to push you. Silence and composure are protective tactics. Think of leaders who weather crises quietly, letting staff and competitors wonder what they are planning. Their lack of visible panic becomes their strength. That does not mean you must deny emotions or never seek support. It means choosing carefully where and with whom you disclose certain feelings. Reserve deep vulnerability for a trusted few, and even then, ensure those relationships are reciprocal and do not put you at risk. Words are currency. Spend them wisely. Talking too much hands ammunition to people who can use it against you later. Oversharing creates predictable patterns someone else can map and exploit. By saying less, you force others to guess, and guessing creates error. When you speak, make sure each word serves a purpose. In meetings, listen first. In negotiations, ask questions and let others reveal their cards. The more you observe, and less you declare, the more information you collect while giving away little. That balance, absorbing information while remaining inscrutable, gives you situational control, allowing you to act when the moment is right. Emotions are powerful motivators, but they are also predictable vulnerabilities. Acting from anger, jealousy, or panic often creates openings for manipulation. Replace instinctive reactions with measured responses. Train yourself to pause, breathe, and assess. Will saying something now help or hurt your position? Convert emotional energy into preparation. If someone insults you, use the upset to plan a strategic response rather than retaliate on impulse. This doesn't ask you to become cold or inhuman. It asks you to harness emotions as fuel for deliberate action. People who operate from cool analysis are rarely surprised, and they rarely give opponents the satisfaction of a visible reaction. Respect and fear are distinct currencies. In an ideal world, people would always act from love and fairness, but reality is messier. People follow incentives. Respect, earned through competence, consistency, and boundaries, will typically hold stronger than affection when stakes rise. When you prioritize being liked above standing firm, you open a door to exploitation. People will test limits if they feel you crave their approval. Cultivate competence and set standards. Make it clear what behavior you appreciate and what behavior you will not tolerate. When people know that their actions have consequences, they tend to align with your expectations. This is how leaders command teams, how managers maintain discipline, and how those who want influence protect themselves. Control access like you manage a fortress. Each person who gets close learns something about your patterns, how you react under pressure, what triggers you, who you trust. And that knowledge can be weaponized. Be generous in small things, but stingy with big ones. Allow varying levels of intimacy, acquaintances, colleagues, trusted allies. The closer the level, the more private you should be. A useful practice is to create clear professional boundaries. For example, be friendly in public settings, but keep personal matters off workplace chat. At times, polite distance is not coldness, it is strategic discretion. People respect a leader who is present, but not always available. Understand loyalty's practical limits. Most loyalty is transactional. People align themselves with what benefits them. That doesn't mean you should be cynical about relationships, only prudent. Protect yourself against dependency, both theirs on you and yours on them. Build redundancies. Cultivate multiple allies, maintain professional backup, and diversify your sources of influence. When someone does you a favor, return it in a way that strengthens your position rather than creates obligation that undermines you. This helps you avoid being trapped by gratitude or indebtedness, which can be exploited by manipulative actors. Mystery is underrated. When people can't fully read you, they often overcompensate. Guessing produces fear and caution. Your presence should create uncertainty in opponents' minds. That said, mystery isn't secrecy for its own sake. It's selective disclosure. Reveal competence when it benefits you, but keep intentions private. If you must disclose plans, do it on your terms and in ways that minimize risk. The goal is to make others aware of your capabilities without providing a roadmap for counteraction. When conflict arrives, avoid drama. Drama announces vulnerability. A dramatic reaction, public lament, vengeful outburst, or desperate pleading feeds the predator's appetite. Instead, be calculated. Respond proportionally and in ways that aim to neutralize the threat. For reputational attacks, counter with verified facts and calm clarity. Correct the record, don't inflame the situation. For workplace sabotage, document behavior and leverage institutional structures like HR or legal counsel rather than public accusations that could backfire. Your power is strongest when your moves are logical and final, leaving little room for retaliation. Knowing how to make people need you is central to maintaining influence. Make your skills indispensable. Be the person who delivers results others cannot easily replicate. That doesn't mean hoarding knowledge to manipulate. It means being effective and consistently reliable. When others depend on your competence, they're more likely to support you even when loyalties are tested. Similarly, create benign dependencies. Mentor colleagues, structure workflows that rely on your input, and build networks that benefit from your presence. Just be careful not to become controllable by your own dependencies. Maintain the ability to walk away. Psychology matters. People react to narratives. If you want to be treated as powerful, craft a narrative of composure and competence. That narrative includes body language. Stand tall, maintain steady eye contact, and use deliberate gestures. It includes voice. Speak clearly and at measured pace. It includes timing. Enter conversations with confidence. Leave them with dignity. Small, consistent signals accumulate and define how others perceive you. Over time, your personal brand grows. People begin to associate your name with calm authority. That association alone can deter many would-be aggressors. Practice strategic empathy. Understand people's motives without being emotionally entangled. By recognizing what someone wants, status, security, approval, you can structure interactions to satisfy those desires while protecting your own interests. Offer recognition where it's due. People crave validation. Give it in measured ways so that they feel seen, but not so much that you're undermining your authority. This subtle balancing acts as social engineering without deception. People feel positive toward you and are less likely to act hostilely because you provide something valuable in their psychological economy. Avoid the trap of overexposure. Social media makes it easy to broadcast your personal life and to invite commentary, but visibility equals vulnerability. Be visible on your own terms. Share achievements and professional milestones that bolster authority, not personal struggles that provide ammunition. If you're building influence online, curate content that demonstrates capability, not weakness. When the world sees steady competence, they give you the benefit of the doubt. When they see inconsistency and emotional volatility, they grow bold in testing your limits. Guard your reputation zealously. Reputation is a non-material asset that can determine whether people align with or against you. Respond to false narratives quickly but strategically. Don't get dragged into a messy public fight that amplifies the noise. Use evidence, endorsements, and calm public statements to correct misperceptions. When necessary, let third parties, trusted colleagues, reputable media, or institutional channels validate your truth. Third-party validation is powerful because people often trust voices other than the accused party. Design your social architecture. In organizations and communities, your social network can be a shield or a liability. Build a coalition of people who appreciate your strengths and can vouch for your competence. This network should be diverse: mentors, peers, supportive subordinates, and external allies. Diversity makes your network less susceptible to a single point of failure. Also, keep some relationships transactional. Not every connection needs to be close. Transactional relationships are useful. They provide benefits without emotional entanglement, and they can be ended cleanly when they are no longer useful. When betrayal happens, despite caution, and sometimes it will, respond with strategy, not spectacle. Public revenge or emotional outbursts can backfire and cement the narrator's view of you as reactive. Instead, remove the capability of the betrayer to hurt you again. Shift power structures, reassign responsibilities, and control the narrative. Neutralize their influence through quiet means. Reallocate resources, solidify alternate alliances, and strengthen your base. The aim is to end their ability to harm you without creating martyrs or fueling sympathy for them. Finality matters. Half measures only invite future attacks. Cultivate a long-term mindset. Too many people focus on immediate wins and neglect structural safety, but true untouchability is strategic longevity. Invest in continuous skill development, maintain financial buffers, and document processes that make your role harder to replace. A long-term perspective also means not squandering reputation on petty fights. Hold your energy for consequential battles. When you act, ensure actions align with your broader strategic position, and that consequences favor you even years down the line. Know when to walk away. The ability to leave gives you leverage. Those who cannot walk away become hostage to circumstances and the whims of others. Walking away can mean terminating a relationship, switching jobs, or divesting from an unhealthy venture. It's not always dramatic. Often it is quiet and decisive. But the knowledge that you can leave changes how others treat you. They stop assuming your availability, and they respect your autonomy. Be mindful of legal and ethical limits. Many texts about power flirt with immoral tactics, but practical power within healthy societies depends on legitimacy. Illegitimate maneuvers, lying, fraud, or illegal harassment may bring short-term gains but can destroy you when exposed. Instead, master legitimate influence, persuasion, competence, negotiation, and leverage. Ethical power lasts. Unethical power tends to collapse spectacularly. Use the rule book to your advantage. Know the laws, organizational policies, and norms so you can navigate conflicts within safe boundaries. Turn your failures into signals of competence by reframing them. People often read weakness into mistakes, but those who can own a controlled narrative around failure disarm critics. Say nothing impulsive. Instead, show what you learned and how you adapted. Leaders who demonstrate learning rather than whining about loss garner respect. The ability to recuperate and improve is a silent kind of strength that many underestimate. Learn to read intentions. Not everyone will say what they mean. Watch for patterns. Who networks when you're absent? Who mirrors your language? Who avoids accountability? These behavioral cues reveal much about a person's likely future choices. Combine observation with discreet verification. Ask targeted questions, listen to offhand comments, and check consistency across situations. Over time, building a mental model of people's motives allows you to prioritize trust in those who have proven themselves and to limit exposure to those who haven't. When negotiating, frame outcomes to make them appear beneficial to the other party as well. People give resistance when they feel they are being asked to lose. By structuring agreements so that the other side gains perceived value, you reduce friction and protect your interests. Negotiation isn't about winning at all costs. It's about shaping durable agreements that preserve your strategic position. Offer strategic generosity. Generosity can be a tool when used intentionally. Give recognition publicly to those you want to keep loyal. Mentor rising talent. They will owe a social debt that is less likely to translate into exploitation. However, make sure generosity is contingent. Reward performance with support, but set limits so that favors do not become liabilities. Generosity with boundaries builds reciprocal obligations without weakening your autonomy. Cultivate mental resilience. Untouchable people are not immune to pain. They recover better. Build habits that sustain you. Sleep, exercise, consistent routines, and practices like journaling or meditation to process emotions privately. Resilience is practical. It gives you the stamina to execute long-term strategies and the discipline to maintain composure in crises. It also makes you less reactive, reducing the chance that others can manipulate you through emotional triggers. Control the optics of power. The appearance of competence is a compound of clothing, grooming, punctuality, and preparedness. These small things send signals. Arrive on time, be organized, and present materials clearly. They shape initial impressions that are hard to reverse. First impressions bias subsequent judgments, so manage them proactively. The less room others have to question your preparedness, the less likely they will be to test you. Use silence as a tool for negotiation and influence. Silence makes people uncomfortable. They often fill it with information. When someone makes an offer or accusation, pause before replying. That pause communicates confidence and forces interlocutors to clarify or reveal more. Silence also prevents you from saying things you might later regret. It's not passive. It's a strategic pause that exerts psychological pressure. Create rituals for difficult conversations to maintain professionalism and reduce emotional flares. For example, request a private meeting with an agenda, set time limits, and start with neutral observations rather than accusations. Rituals structure interactions in ways that favor rational outcomes and limit impulsive behavior. They also communicate that you handle conflicts methodically, which deters reckless interference. When building alliances, choose partners with complementary strengths. Align with people who fill gaps in your capabilities, technical skills, access to different social circles, or institutional knowledge. Complementary alliances are mutually reinforcing and less likely to become zero-sum fights. Also, reinforce these alliances through small reciprocal exchanges. Share credit, provide introductions, or offer time-bound support. Such reciprocity cements alliances without creating disproportionate dependence. Be adaptable. Rigidity is a liability. Situations change. People leave. Organizations reorganize. Norms evolve. Maintain flexibility in tactics while holding steady to long-term objectives. Adaptation allows you to pivot quickly, making you less vulnerable to sudden shifts. Leaders who can change course gracefully keep their influence even when others falter. Reflect on your moral framework regularly. Power without ethics tends to become brittle and dangerous. Define the boundaries you will not cross. These boundaries will keep you credible and respected over time. People follow those who are principled because predictability in ethical stances reduces risk. When others know you have firm limits, they are less likely to bait you into compromising situations. Finally, wield power quietly. The most dangerous people often avoid the spotlight. Being conspicuous can attract envy, scrutiny, and sabotage. Work behind the scenes to influence outcomes, orchestrate deals, align stakeholders, and let others take visible credit while you guide the strategy. This quiet influence is sustainable and harder to target. The more invisible your leverage, the safer you are. Becoming untouchable is not about becoming cruel, paranoid, or disconnected from humanity. It's about learning to manage risk, protect your interests, and build durable influence that withstands betrayal and volatility. Master the art of perception, guard your vulnerabilities, and practice strategy daily. Own your narrative, cultivate composure, and build networks that reinforce rather than expose you. In a world that often rewards the appearance of strength, skillfully managing how you are seen will go a long way toward ensuring you are not the one taken by surprise. In the end, power is not about brute strength, wealth, or even intelligence. It is about perception, control, and strategy. Machiavelli's lessons remind us that the world does not reward those who are merely honest, emotional, or good-hearted. It rewards those who can appear unshakable, who can control access to themselves, who can turn silence into mystery, and who understand that respect lasts longer than affection. To be untouchable, You must master the art of appearances, keep emotions in check, and use leverage instead of blind trust. Do not reveal your weaknesses. Do not speak more than necessary. Do not allow others to dictate the terms of your existence. Instead, move with precision, act with purpose, and always remember, the strongest armor is not perfection. It is the illusion of invulnerability. The world belongs to those who understand that image is everything, that control is protection, and that strategy is survival. Be unreadable. Be unshakable. Be untouchable.